I have just pushed record. So welcome to week 1 of the Family Survival Strategies for COVID-19 from Family Success. We're going to get started, and I'm going to let Africa Bell kick us off by talking about how we're handling stress and avoiding panic.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Africa Bell, as Sam introduced me earlier, and I'm here to speak with you on how to handle stress, the do's and the don'ts. Also, like to just talk about, the family structure and just the adjustments that we have to make as a family and how we can do it as smooth as possible. Okay, so if it appears that I'm reading, because I am, there's just some tips that I printed out yesterday that I definitely feel that it needs to be shared with everyone. So here are the people who respond more strongly to the stress of a crisis. So we're all in a crisis. So we have older people and people with chronic disease who are at high risk for COVID-19, children and teens, people who are helping with the response to COVID-19, like doctors and other healthcare providers or first responders. So we see a lot of that in the news and on our news feed on Facebook. Of the mass, response and need for masks and gloves and everything. So also people who have mental health conditions, including problems with substance use. So those are the people that would strongly respond to a situation like this. But one of the biggest things that I would like to share with you all is that if you or someone you care about are feeling overwhelmed with emotions like sadness, depression, anxiety, and feel like you want to harm yourself or others, the biggest thing that you can do is call 911. There is a crisis line that you can call. It's a nationwide distress line from Samsung disaster distress line, and that number is 1-800-985-5990. And if you have someone that you feel like is in immediate danger, make that call immediately.
Africa, would you read that number one more time?
Sure. The number is 1-800-985-5990.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Stress during an infection disease outbreak can include fear and worry about your own health and the health of your loved one, changes in eating or sleeping habits, difficult sleeping or concentrating, worsening of chronic health issues, increased use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Now, things you can do to support yourself. Take deep breaths, or I should say, let me go back and say this. Take breaks from watching, reading, or listening to news stories, including social media. Hearing about the pandemic repeatedly can be upsetting, and especially when you're dealing with anxiety and stress. So you do want to take care of your body. Take deep breath, stretches, meditation, eating well-balanced meals. You do want to exercise regularly, get plenty of sleep, avoid alcohol and drugs. Take time to unwind. try to do some other activities that you enjoy, which I understand a lot of the places we would like to go right now is not accessible to us due to health risks and safety risks. But there might be some things around the home that you can engage in doing. Connecting with others. Talk with people you trust about your concerns and how you're feeling. So one of the main things that we can do at this particular time in the whole social distancing would be via phone, via video chat, what we're doing right now. Those are some of the things that can help keep us connected. So one of the things that we have to realize in this whole chaos and situation that we're facing, that our children, our young people are also under high stress and um, trying to deal with this particular change and not being able to go to school, finish the year out, especially our seniors who not able to walk immediately. So those are some of the things that we have to, as parents and professionals, to be aware of. So here are some of the ways that people, especially the children and teens, may react to certain situations, such as excessive crying or irritation in younger children, returning to behaviors that they have outgrown, such as toilet abstinence or bedwetting. So that's definitely a key indication of that the child is experiencing some acting out behaviors that they have long outgrown. Excessive worry and sadness, unhealthy eating and sleeping habits, irritability and acting out behaviors in teens, poor academic performance. Now, here's the deal. I know most schools have, the take-home packets or the online classwork. But if it seems like your child doesn't seem as motivated to do it, or just having a hard time focusing and concentrating, which is my next point, then that might be a time for you to sit back and kind of have a conversation with your child or teen just to see what's going on. Avoiding activities that they enjoyed in the past. Unexplained headaches and body aches. One thing for sure that we all know that our body does respond to anxiety and stress. So child is seems to get headaches out of nowhere, and is persistent. That's something to raise concern about. And of course, use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Here are some of the things you can do to support your child. Take time to talk with your child or teen about the COVID-19 outbreak. Answer any questions and share facts. And that's the biggest thing that we have to do. We have to look into credible sources to get our facts from. That way, it's not going to cause us any confusion in terms of what they understand, and to be able to break it down to them. Reassure your child or teen that they are safe. Let them know it's okay if they feel upset. And sometimes you may have to allow them to express how they feel. Um, and to be able to talk their way through that, because we all experience different ways of expressing our emotions. And it's okay to allow them to express that, within a good means of expression. Share with them how you're dealing with your own stress. So it's a moment of being transparent, and saying, hey, I definitely understand what you're going through because I feel the same. But we will get through this together. So you're you're reassuring them and you're showing them some positive coping skills to be able to handle that particular moment of stress. You want to limit your family's exposure to news coverage of the event, including social media. Children may misinterpret what they have heard and can be frightening about something they do not understand. So again, sometimes it's good to unlog or disconnect from social media for a minute and just switch off, because a lot of that information may not be the right information. Also, what you want to do is try to keep up with a regular routine with their schooling. Since schools are closed, you want to schedule for learning activities and relaxing and fun activities. Be a role model, taking breaks, getting plenty of sleep, exercise, and eating well. Once again, staying connected with your family and friends. So for the responders, we want to acknowledge that the STS can impact what that's mean. The STS stands for secondary traumatic stress. So in case you wonder what that means, what it stands for. So acknowledge that the STS can impact anyone, helping families after a traumatic event.
So Africa, let me interrupt you for a second. What would you say is the single biggest thing you would recommend people do to reduce their stress if they're feeling stressful?
Well, it just seemed to be a recurring thing of just taking a break, turning off the television, turn off Facebook or whatever means, Twitter, whatever means of social media, and just take a break.
I think that's good advice.
And
Whatever is causing us the stress, to take a break from it, whether it's news or Facebook, or sometimes it's even family. We may need to take a little break
right.
from the family.
Well, I always say that the biggest thing that here's the things you have to keep in mind. You do need a break for yourself. Mm-hmm. Just you. Just to collect your thoughts. Just to get yourself together, because it's a reassessment of what's going on with you. And for you to acknowledge, okay, right now I'm building up my, there's pressure building up for myself. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to step to the side. And if that means I need to go for a walk in the yard, that's fine. If that means you need to put in your AirPods, go listen to some music. And if you're into yoga, go outside where if the allergies, the pollen's not too bad, or the weather is fairly nice, go out on the deck, do some yoga exercises. Do something where you can escape just for you. Then the next thing is that the children need some space. They need some escape from you too, believe it or not. So giving them some things that they can engage in, and just being able to go outside for a bit and just breathe. And even if you want to bring them in into doing some exercises, then you join in with them. And letting them know it's okay to go into your room if you want to go lay down, or if you want to go listen to some music. Just give them the same opportunity you would give to yourself. And then the next thing would be time for you and your mate, your spouse, whatever the case may be. And I know that's a little bit more trickier than the other two, just trying to find the time. But there's time, we have to create that time in that space to do so. So it's just being a little bit more creative in that aspect of just you and that person sitting down and talking and just enjoying each other's company, and to once again expressing feelings pertaining to what's going on right now globally, you know, and what's going on in your house, not just what's going on in your town, your county, your state, you know, what's going on, you know, in your house, all levels, because every level affects the other. So a lot of people are out of work, they're, you know, working from home. It's a different adjustment, but it's just too, it's allowing you to reassess, okay, how do I really spend my time? And, you know, once all this clear up, and eventually will, you know, how do I reassess my purpose in life, in my family, you know, for myself, for my coworkers. Those are the things that you have to, you know, be in mind of. But
So I
just,
think that's good advice for us to remember that we need to think about space for ourselves,
right,
keeping ourselves healthy, space for our relationship with our significant other and trying to keep that healthy, and space and time with our children to keep those relationships healthy. For
right,
many of us, we are spending more time together in an unusual environment than we ever have before, and we just need to give people a little bit of grace. I want to share just a suggestion myself, and then let's change gears and talk about nurturing that relationship with our significant other.
okay,
I've been sharing with people that there are really like 4 things I would encourage people to do every day. Do something for your spirit, if you are a religious or spiritual person, something for your soul, something for your body, and something for your mind. So every day, do something that connects you with God or your higher power, that helps you connect with your spiritual expression. Do something every day that connects you with your soul, something that brings you joy, whether it is beauty, it could be music or art or nature or a hobby, but something that feeds your soul, something that feeds your body. Don't just sit, move around, move in your house, move outside. You can still social distance and go outside. Just stay 6 feet away from other people who don't share your house with you. But many of our parks are still open for that kind of thing. And you can just walk around your yard or walk around your neighborhood, and then do something for your mind. Work a puzzle, play a game. Many of us are still using our minds because we're working from home, but do something to keep those 4 areas used and going. So Emma, share with us some stuff about keeping our relationships.
I think it's really, there are a lot of things to remember in regards to this time period. And that is going to be, you're going to get tired of being with the people 24/7. And that is completely okay, completely normal to start to feel a little stress about being together 24/7. We find it extremely important that during this time, you actually take some moments to sit down with your partner and talk to them about your fears. This is a scary time for a lot of people, and we don't know when this is going to be over. So now would be a great time to sit down and talk to your partner about what your fears are and listen to them. You don't want to just say, I'm so scared of everything, and not give them a chance to talk. This is the best time to communicate. But the best way to do that is by turning off your phones. I'm going to echo what Africa said, turning off your cell phones, getting off social media, turning off the news. Spending time with the people that are important to you is crucial, but actually listening and not sitting there with your phone 24/7 going, I hear you. Actually listening to what they're saying, actively listening. But this is also a time where you're probably going to feel the stress and the strain of being together 24/7 underneath a very high stress environment. Take some time to have some fun. This is a good time that you can work on having an at-home date night. It seems so simple, but it's something that we really are encouraging people to do. It's a good time to reconnect. This could be a time where we're either going to have a big baby boom or we're going to have a lot of divorces. I can't figure out which way it's going to go. Because if I'm at home 24/7 with my partner, chances are at some point I'm going to get frustrated. But take some time away from him or her, but also make some plans with that person. You know, you can't go out to a restaurant right now, but you can bring your restaurant home to you. You can go out and get some of your favorite food and turn around and come home and have a date night and set the table, just you and your partner. That would be a great time to communicate. Put your phones down and actually have a one-on-one dinner with that person with your favorite foods. Not only are you supporting local businesses, which is huge, but you're also able to find that favorite food. Go to Redbox and then disinfect that thing. Like, you Lysol it back, forward, inside and out. But go get a movie. When the kids go to bed, watch a movie together. I know a lot of people are currently in the healthcare field who are isolating themselves away from their family, but this is a good time that you can, if they're in a whole different part of the house, you can still FaceTime. You can still have conversations. Pick up the phone and call your loved ones. This is a great time for us to reconnect with our family and our friends just by picking up the phone. And it seems so simple. Have a game night, which is what we've been doing in our house. We've been playing cards. We're very competitive and I'm very mean about it, but at least it's a way for us to have some fun. We've been cooking meals together. We've been having fun in the backyard, but like Africa said, sometimes we have to just take time away from each other and not get our feelings hurt if one person is outside and one person is in the living room watching TV. If you are in that point where you're feeling like you're getting your feelings hurt because they don't want to spend constant time with you, have that conversation. Without open communication, this is all going to fall apart. So please make some time for your partner to have those conversations. Plan out some time for yourself and plan out time with your partner. We're going to be posting some stuff up on our Facebook page about some tips that you can do with your relationships. Alabama Healthy Marriage is really important to our community, I feel, because it gives a lot of great advice about what couples can do, and we'll be sharing a lot of that advice on our Facebook page. So please constantly watch that, but having that constant fear and stress is going to affect your children and your relationship, and we would like for you to take a moment and just have fun with them. I won't go on and on and on forever, but that's the gist, Tammy.
So let me invite people to ask questions now. I'm going to unmute everybody. We'll try to take them really quickly, and then we want to move on to some income loss issues and then the financial part of this. So, does anybody have a question?
I did want to say about the children thing. I did hear Africa mention kids. This is a great time if you're stuck at home with your kids to teach them some life skills. Things that they're not going to be normally learning while they're at school. You can be teaching them how to cook. This is a great way for you to be bonding with your children, how to do laundry, how to pay bills. These are all things that it says my internet connection is unstable all of a sudden. Okay, there it goes. These are all things that teaching them how to sort their laundry, teaching them how to clean up. This is a great way for your younger kids and your older kids to get some life skills. So while you're actually doing school stuff, spend time with them learning this life skill stuff too. And if you have a senior who's about to graduate and you are not able to do the traditional graduation, you need to have a big blowout thing in the backyard and put it on Facebook Live so all of your family and friends can see it. Don't minimize this time because they're missing a lot of things that are very important to proms and graduations. Make sure that you make them feel special during this time. Kids are scared and we need to be honest with them, make them feel important, and how we react is going to be how they react. So have a good time with them. I mean, we're going to be doing some backyard graduations. Please share them so we can see them and we can celebrate with you.
Okay. Africa, do you have a quick relationship tip to share?
Well, let's see. The biggest thing is that, you know, I look at all this as a reset button. We mentioned about that yesterday. Just resetting on how the structure of your relationship and just communicate. We just now we have to, it's not only just communicate, it's how we communicating. Quality time versus quantity. It's not necessarily how much time you spend, it's what you're doing with your time when you are in that moment. Recognizing your love languages. You know, this would be a great time for the spouses and significant others to get together and talk about your love languages. And if you don't know what they are, I can give you the list. So the first love language is not in this order, but receiving gifts, words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, and what's the other one? Let's see, quality time, touch. Just have a brain fart.
Africa, I'm putting a link in the chat box so that people can go and check them out for themselves.
Okay, thank you, because I can't remember the fifth one, but once you understand the love languages, you assess your love language well as your partners assess their love language. Oh yeah, acts of service. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So once you know your own, and you got to be true to yourself, just as well as your partner being true to themselves, and putting that together. That way, you can feed off each other's language.
But also taking a break. I think having that, Tammy mentioned having that grace, that giving that person some grace and knowing when it's time to walk away before things start to get into arguments, when things start getting into a fight, because it's likely to happen during this time, taking that break and respecting that person's space, giving that person some grace, because everybody is stressed out during this time.
Ordinarily, we leave and go to work. We have that space. We're having our commute time or our time at the office, the time with different people that helps those things that we think are cute when we're with them a little bit of the time suddenly become abrasive when we're with them all the time. And now we have to look for those opportunities to have that margin in our lives. I want to transition us to financial stuff because we're about 30 minutes in to this, and I don't want us to go much over an hour if we can help it, so that people are not sitting here for too long. Emma, talk to us about the financial parts of what's going on.
Sure. So before we do that, let me just go ahead and mention that I'm the one who handles the YMCA scholarships and the Never Surrender mammogram programs, and we're still processing those. If you are calling the number and you're looking for an appointment, we're doing them over FaceTime, over phone calls right now. And just be patient with me because I'm not in the office every single day, but when I am there, I will return phone calls. So we are still processing those if you're curious. We're not giving that stuff up. So this is a scary time, obviously, for financial reasons, and a lot of people are losing their jobs or not able to work. So I do want to give the information about unemployment and where you would go. The Alabama Department of Labor website is labor.alabama.gov /unemployment.
I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat box.
That would be great. There's also a phone number that you can call, which is 1-866-234-5382, which I think Tammy's also going to be putting in the chat box because she's a good woman. And when you go to the website, you're going to just go to establish a new claim, and then you're going to scroll down and press proceed. And it's going to tell you, it's going to give you a step-by-step process of how to apply. So if you are in a situation where you are furloughed or you are currently unemployed, you can apply for unemployment. Now, I know a lot of people have been stressing about the process. Some people may or may not be qualifying. If you're in doubt whether or not you should qualify, call that number. There's going to be a wait because a lot of people are doing it at the exact same time. But keep trying, do the website, and give it your best go because this is going to be a scary time. Also, there is supposed to be an amount of money coming from the government. So when you get that money, please be aware that no one is going to call you from the government asking for your account number. So if they call you up and say, hey, Lisa, I need to get your account number to deposit money into your account from the government, they're not going to call you and ask you that. So please be aware of that. Also, do not be afraid to reach out and contact the people that you owe money to, whether it be your car or your mortgage company. It is so much easier to reach out and be honest with them and tell them that you have lost money because of COVID-19 than to just hope it goes away. Alabama Power has assured no disconnections for customers as of right now. The Spire Gas Company has suspended disconnects and late fees until at least May 1st. Comcast is offering some internet services for low-income families. So if you're one, I think it's called, I'm going to look it up because I just saw it, Internet Essentials. It's for low-income families, but if you've lost your job, you can contact them as well if you are being connected by COVID-19 to see if you can get 2 months of free internet service. And then after that, it's $10 a month. This is great for people who have kids who are now going to be at home all of the time, and it's going to be unlimited. They're also, if you are currently paying for Comcast, they are going to allow you to have no disconnect fees, no late fees, and if you go over in your data, it's going to be free. If you are somewhere where there's an Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspot, you can go and get that for free. So there are a lot of ways that you can get for free. Contact your bank. Like I know a lot of banks are doing things right now, like if your mortgage is through your bank, they may have a relief program where you can delay your payments for a month or 2 months or 3 months. Family Savings is waiving late fees for loans. Regions and Family Savings are offering if you have a CD, you can withdraw that money without a penalty. But make sure that you contact your bank, your mortgage company, your credit card companies, anybody that you have money through. Contact them and say, I have been affected by COVID-19. I have lost my job. I am currently furloughed. I am falling behind on my bills. Let them know. Don't ignore it and hope that it goes away. Call them up front, be proactive, and let them know what's happening. That way you can go ahead and get ahead of it. Will you still end up owing money at the end of this? Of course, if you have to delay your power bill for a month, you're still going to owe for this month. But when this is all said and done, a lot of them are saying that they're going to work on payment plans and budget plans with you. It's just best to be honest than get 2 months down the road and say, oh, I wish I had done this. Another great way is to supplement food. If you are struggling with your bills and supplementing food, but let's keep in mind that our 3 major resources in town where we send money for funding sources, they aren't going to have a whole lot. If I'm guessing that's going to be the case. I think I saw that one of them this morning said they were only doing food and they're short on food. So you cannot rely on our major 3 funding sources right now. You can continue to call, but bear in mind that you're not going to get the money that you may need. Everybody's needing it. And please be aware of any scams. When in doubt, if someone calls you from your bank, hang up and call them right back. If someone from the power company calls and says, hey, I'm with Alabama Power, please give me your information, stop and tell them I'm going to hang up and call you right back. Because there are lots of scams going on right now. We want to keep you safe. And if I know that
and don't let them give you the number to call back.
No, exactly.
Because they'll give you their number. You hang up, you find the number for Alabama Power or your bank or whatever and call them.
Yes, don't say, well, what number are you calling from? No, you go look on the internet and say, I think it's actually 1-800-COMCAST or it's 1-800-REGIONS. I mean, you look up that number yourself. And we're gonna be posting on our Facebook page often about the places where you can go for your kids to get food. If we can find it, we're gonna post it. That way you can utilize those services to keep your kids fed. We understand how stressful this is and how childcare is going to be an option if you have to work. And this is a great time for you to look at your family, your friends, your churches, who you can get to watch your kids during this time if you have to go back to work. If you are working at Walmart or a grocery store, who's going to take care of your kids? Call a friend, call in a favor, be safe. But this is a very scary time, but please stay proactive in regards to your funds. This is a great time to reevaluate your budgeting as well. Do not spend a lot of extra money on things that you don't need. Get off Amazon because you don't need all that stuff right now. Buy things that you need as opposed to, unless you want to do things for yourself. And if you have the extra funds, then by all means. But if you don't have the extra funds, buy what you need versus what you want until this is taken care of.
Don't stress spend.
Yes. Lisa.
Don't stress spend.
Don't
have it.
I see you hanging your head because you are who we do. This is a good time to teach needs versus wants, not just for
Yes.
yourself, but for your children as well, because they're going to gain all of this. They're going to learn by watching you. So be safe, be smart. Please call us if you have any questions. And I think we'll be doing this again next week. So we'll have more tips, but this is just a quick overview of some of the things that you may need to know.
I had a tip come in to us through the gallery. Thank you, Lisa. A reminder that for those who are dealing with addiction issues, there are online AA and NA meetings. You can still try to get your 30 meetings in 30 days or your regular meetings by finding those that are online. You can still do big book study. You can read a grapevine kind of things going on. And speaking of, Amazon can deliver you a big book if you need one.
If you need it.
If you need one in there. I also want to say, Emma mentioned that we're still taking appointments. Family Success is still trying to operate as much as we can. So Africa, our counselor, is still available. You can call and make an appointment with her, even though you can't connect in the building. We're open to using this kind of chatting availability and telephone to connect, as well as Emma. We're even exploring the possibility of holding a relationship workshop using technology like this. This may actually be a time it could fill some of the time that we have in that margin right now by working on our relationships. I want to share just a few quick tips for some parents have gotten thrown into this idea of homeschooling. And it was not something you ever planned on. Nobody saw this coming. My family homeschooled all the way through. My boys from kindergarten all the way through high school graduation were homeschooled. And so I just want to throw out a few quick tips. First of all, you aren't being expected to do all of this. You're not expected to become a professional teacher. They're just asking you, they just want to reduce the slide and they're going to help. So please don't feel pressured to be everything the teacher at school would have been. We're kind of afraid that like my child is going to be behind forever because of this. Well, just remember, every other child in Alabama is as equally at home and missing out on that. So give yourself a little bit of grace. It's a great opportunity to begin to see everything as an opportunity to learn. Every conversation, everywhere you go, everything that you do. You can build math into baking. Double the recipe, half the recipe. Figure out the math for changing the ingredients. We want to order something online. How much will that cost? What is that percentage? What is the percentage of tax that's going to be on that? There's all sorts of little ways. Helping with the shopping list, helping with menu planning. It's a great opportunity to learn something different that's not in the usual list of course things. Maybe taking up a foreign language, learning woodworking, focusing on those great life skills as well. Both Africa and Emma have mentioned letting your children have moods. They're as frustrated as we are with this. They're as unsure and as anxious. Allow them room to have their feelings as well. Check out some homeschool websites. Might do a web search for help on homeschooling and see what comes up. Try to set a daily schedule to have some sense of routine. Africa mentioned that, the getting up, the getting dressed, the tackling stuff. Yes, good job. But keep the schedule light. Don't try to say we're going to do math for 40 minutes. We're going to do English for 40 minutes. Hey, Alistair. There. The biggest thing I would suggest that you do is just read. Read together, take turns. You read to your kids, they read to you. Read whatever you want to. Maybe make it not news. Read some stuff. But there's also a lot of great programming out there that you can take advantage of, things that are on YouTube, things that are on TV that can be educational. And feel free to explore that. If you're out and you find a bug, take a picture of the odd bug, go home, find out what the bug is, research all about it. It just became a learning opportunity. Most of all, give yourself grace and focus on reading. All right. So are there other questions? I'm going to unmute everybody again and see if there are questions we can answer.
With the making of the schedule, how long do you recommend that a person do homeschool with their children? Is there an interval? Should we do an hour and then take a break, an hour and take a break? What do you think the maximum is?
The younger the child, the shorter the lesson should be. And
Okay.
Alistair is what, 8 or so?
Yes.
Those lessons should not be longer than 10 minutes.
Okay.
Short attention span. You can
Okay.
also build in a reward. Like, we're going to focus on this for 10 minutes, and then afterwards we're going to go do this, something that he likes.
Okay.
My rewards right now tend to be cookies, which is not going to help with the quarantine 15 that I'm gaining so very rapidly.
14, 15. That's great.
But we may need to just do what we need to do right now. That later.
We should let people know, Tammy, that you ran a homeschool group for a long time, so you know what you're talking about.
I did. I ran a homeschool group for a little while. We had about 300 families in the group. So had a good number of people. And even in high school, just for emphasis, when my kids were carrying 6 subjects, 6 credits for working toward high school, they could be through with their work by lunch every day. So we would start 8 or 8:30, and they could be through by 12.
I feel
And
ripped
have the
off now.
afternoon.
I spent way too much time in school.
Well, because there's a lot of time that gets taken up with changing classes and getting everybody settled and on the right page. Now, did my kids always do that? No. Sometimes it took them 12 hours to do the one thing I asked them to do. And they wanted to put those 3 hours between like midnight and 4 a.m. sometimes. So
We've been trying to stay on a little bit of a schedule: breakfast, then schoolwork, then break, then schoolwork, then some exercise and schoolwork. And the exercise is one of the hardest parts for both of us because we don't like movement that much. Would prefer to sit. And we are implementing quiet time. We need a break from each other. We need an hour apart, and in that hour you can do whatever you want to do as long as it's legal. And
so here's my confession. My kids, all the way through middle school, really, they took a nap. I mean, they didn't have to go to sleep. I could care less if you slept, but you're going to go to your room for an hour a day because mommy needs a break.
Just get out of my face. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, maybe we all need timeouts, you know? I had a teacher, this is a confession that's probably more than some of the rest of them want to know about me, but
Sorry,
I go to the bathroom frequently and I always need to go. And so I had a teacher who tried to figure out how to let me go to the bathroom without it constantly interrupting class. And she created a stoplight at the back of the classroom by the door. And anybody could go to the restroom whenever they needed to, but only one person could go at a time. So a green light meant somebody could go, and when you went to the bathroom, you turned it to red, and you went to the back and you came back and turned it back to green. During this time when we're all quarantining at home, maybe we need traffic lights that say, green, I'm good, let's talk, let's spend time together, but I'm hitting a red zone. This is my time to go do my thing. I need some time to myself.
Well, with the trying to entertain and being someone's educator, entertainment coordinator, chef, maid, servant, whatever you want to say, we're trying to give ourselves some fun activities. So we did an outdoor drive-in movie.
Cool.
Popcorn, candy cakes, everything, but it was outside. And all we did was hook up a $30 projector that has been in the basement for years. And when the laptop to it, it was a little bit of a learning curve to get it, but we sat outside and watched Pink Panther cartoons off YouTube.
We're about to do the exact same thing. We're doing that this weekend.
And we cooked on the grill, and it's right now we're treating it as an extended vacation, the thing that you've always wanted to have. You know, I would like to have a month off. Unfortunately, we didn't always want a month off without pay, but you know, you get what you get. And so just trying to do some small things. We've done a woodworking project. We've planted flowers. We've found a worm. We found what I thought was a salamander that my husband told me was a skink, and I don't know if that's the true name for it or not. So if I've just offended someone, I apologize.
So now you
But
could
we
go
had-
look that up though. Y'all could research that. Find out exactly what it is.
We did.
What I found out is Pinterest can give you a lot of great ideas of different activities that you can do with your family. Different cooking recipes, different type of games that you can create with the stuff that you have in your house already.
Mhm.
And YouTube will definitely give you some ideas as well. Giving
That
the
was a
kids.
Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
cool.
that's
Yeah.
pretty.
A tour of Lisa's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to try to keep it real close so you don't see how dirty it is.
But there are some really good things that you can find online of like people reading stories to the kids, and you can pop that on for 20 minutes, and then that gives you a chance to go take a little break. If nothing else comes from this, I want to say that old saying, which is completely cheesy, that if the plane is going down and the oxygen mask comes down, they always tell you put the oxygen mask on you first before you put it on your children. That they say that for a reason. That is in real life as well. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So please put the oxygen mask on yourself first. It is okay to find somebody reading books to the kids or finding activities for them to do online while you take a moment to take a breather.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, you want.
Yes, the scavenger hunts are amazing.
Yes.
Tiffany works just at the scavenger hunts, the bear hunts that are happening right
Yes.
now. Those are all fun things that you can be doing as a family. This is a great time to reconnect as a family, as a couple, to figure out who your kids are, to learn about your children, and then take breaks away from each other. There are lots of creative things that you can be doing, and we'll be putting up tips all over our Facebook page about what y'all can be doing as a family or for yourself.
And Emma, one thing I wanted to piggyback on that to say, it's a great opportunity to learn more about yourself.
Oh, true, absolutely.
Your capabilities of the things that you didn't think you were capable of doing.
Absolutely.
But, sometimes we have to be in a certain situation to really see, can we rise above that occasion?
And how strong we actually are. We are much stronger than we think we are. We can get through this homeschool. We can get through this.
We can get through this COVID-19 crisis. We can do this. We can social distance. We can breathe through the stress. We can do this. And one of the ways we can do this is by supporting one another with these kinds of conversations. I want to kind of wrap this one up. So let me see if I can kind of summarize. And then Africa and Emma, I'll give y'all a chance to correct me if I missed anything or one last word. In handling our stress, one of the things we want to remember is to turn off the things that are stressful, not consume news 24/7, but take a break. We want to give room for having good time with our children and without our children, good time with our spouse or significant other, and time to ourselves personally, remembering to take care of ourselves, our relationships with our children, and our relationships with our significant other. This time gives us some opportunities to be creative about ways to do that. And we need to keep communication open. Everyone is experiencing the financial challenges. We're kind of in this together. Utility companies are trying to work with us. And so we want to remember the unemployment at the Department of Labor. We want to communicate with our banks, our mortgages, our lenders, and our utility companies, and hang in there. Remember, you're still going to owe what you owe, but you may have longer to pay it there. So don't overspend. Don't see any of this as being an opportunity to spend wildly because we're unstructured. Don't fall for scams. Remember, legitimate people are not going to call and ask for private and personal information over the phone. Hang up and call that organization back at their main published number and find out who to get to. Most of all, give yourself grace and room. We are all under stress, but we can all do this. We can get through it, and we can get through it together. So, Africa, you got a last word for us?
Well, just I would like to thank you all for giving us this opportunity to share and to support one another during this unusual time in our history. but we just have to remember to keep ourselves as healthy as possible. That's not just physical, but emotionally healthy, and those around us. So we just have to utilize wisdom, and not making sure we're not putting ourselves in harm's way or anyone else.
Yes. All right, Emma, last words?
Utilize your resources. If they're online, if you don't know the answer to something, look it up. If you need to know questions answered, if you think that one of us can help you, please reach out to us. We're still here to help with whatever it may, even if it's just suggestions on what you can do, or just some ideas on how to be creative with your relationship or with your kids or with mental health. Please feel free to reach out to anybody that you may need to.
Getting some suggestions, final comments from the gallery. One is that the big book for AA is downloadable, and do not, if you are struggling with addiction, please don't forget to call your sponsor and talk with them. There are lots of scavenger hunts there. You can do chalk drawings, chalk your walk, and I think there's going to be a lot of neighborhood Easter egg hunts that you can drive by and do. So that's a great opportunity to maybe have a tree that you decorate with eggs, or some creative ways to do Easter. And maybe we'll make that the topic. One of the things we kind of focus on next week is not only recapping some of the stress in finance, but ways to engage in those kinds of Easter and spring celebrations for this. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. The Family Success Center hopes to help you through this and keep you encouraged. We want to see every family be safe, stable, and strong. Please let us know how we can do that for you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm putting our phone number in the and our website in the chat box just so people will have it. Thank y'all. Bye.
Bye.